What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James. We in these streets. We in these draft streets. These Tyler Booker streets. Feel me? You know what it is. Well, you know what we're talking about. So, if you checked out the draft show yesterday, it was awesome. We'll be doing it, running it back today and tomorrow. Shout out to the panel, Landlord, Henny, Star, Rome, Amp, Big Time, DMV, Lou, Boss, OC. Shout out to all y'all, man. Y'all all just did a hell of a job yesterday. The fighting, y'all was funny as shit. I just sat back and just listened when y'all was fighting it back and forth because I just thought it was funny. Because I ain't emotionally tied into this no more, so I don't get emotional like that. That's what I feel good about. I don't get emotional. Like when I was watching them going back and forth, it was funny because I feel like I used to be that guy, just get mad. But I ain't get mad no more because I'm not emotionally invested with the team. I love my squad, but I'm just not that emotional investment. Now I just look at it from a more analytical side, and you know, when you look at it from that side, you don't really trip or you don't get moved either one way or the other because the emotional side ain't in it. And I feel like that's where I'm at with the Cowboys, and I feel like that's what it's going to be like until I die. I'm on the analytical side, not the emotional side no more with this team. So I don't trip no more, or who the pick is or who not the pick is. I ain't going to get crazy if this was this pick or that pick. You analyze it, see was it the best, and then you move on from there. At least that's what I'm doing. I ain't saying this for nobody else. I'm saying this for me, and it makes me feel a lot better when I look at it from the analytical side than the emotional side. So that's the Cowboy content creator I am, and that's the Cowboy fan I am now. The analytical side, the thought side, not the emotional side. Now, once again, shout out to all them boys that was on that panel and the ladies. But shout out to Boss Cowboys, Lou Takes, I believe Amp and Big Time was on this, but me personally, I heard it. I ain't saying I ain't heard it from none of these other people. You know, Vice Lombardi, Brian Broadus talked about it, but I ain't hear from all them. I first heard it from Boss and Lou. They was pounding the table. We did a show, me and Lou did a show about a month ago. He was on that Booker train, just like Boss. So shout out to them guys, number one, for making that call on the 12th pick. You know, all these, and I'm not being disrespectful when I'm saying, maybe it is, I'm not trying to be, but all these damn nerds out here and these people who ain't did shit with football and never touched a football in their life, never coached a damn game in their life, and they supposed to be all the damn experts for the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't listening to that crap. A lot of them cats ain't never did a damn thing with a football. Now y'all are the gods of who we're supposed to listen to. When you say it, we're supposed to say, oh, well, he said it, then it must be. Hell no. Just like Amp was talking about yesterday, we put in a lot of work. I don't put in that work as much as I used to. I can be real with that because I backed off from the Cowboys in a sense. But them guys like Amp, Boss, Lou, Foots, Rome, Tuck, all those guys grind. And a lot of them, I feel, no more than these so-called experts out there who ain't did a damn thing with football. And they know more than y'all, for real. They really do. You just on a bigger platform. Don't mean you better. Straight up. You're not better, in my opinion. My guys, I'll be rolling with what I know. I'll take my guys against those guys, and we'll whoop your ass every time. That's how I feel. That's how I just want to get that quick little statement out. Shout out to y'all for the great call and them haters that said it wasn't going to happen. So that's all what I want to get out first. Now let's talk about this pick. Yes, I was disappointed when the Carolina Panthers took McMillan. I wanted McMillan. I was excited. When Matthew Golden was there and they didn't take the pick, they took Tyler Booker. Like I said, we seen the reaction, right? I'm not mad at all because the more I kept on feeling, and I'm not saying Matthew Golden's not going to be a good player, but for where he went, He might be really good with Green Bay. You feel me? But they still took him at what, 19 or something like that. I just felt like the more I kept on looking at Golden, the more I kept watching him, I just felt like it was a reach because you don't have those guys out there, so you're reaching. I feel like Cam Ward. I hope Cam Ward does great. I'm not hating on him, but I do feel like the Titans did reach because the talent of the quarterback position is not there. They could have waited. They could have rolled Levis another year. I get it. You got to have a guy, but let's see what Cam Ward is. I'm not hating. Don't understand that. I'm not saying nothing bad about Cam Ward, but maybe they reached a little bit because they felt the pressure of we need a quarterback now. He's right here. Let's do it. That doesn't mean it was the best choice, but we'll see what happens with that. But at the end of the day, I felt like Matthew Golden, after keep on feeling, this was in my spirit. It was a reach. It was just in my spirit. I didn't want to have it in my spirit. It was in my spirit. It just feels like a reach. It feels like a reach because there's a receiver there. We got to get one. 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 I just felt like it was a reach for him. Even at Buca, at 12, I like him, but I still would have felt like it was a reach. Look where he got drafted, where I thought he would later in the draft. Matthew Golden. Hey, y'all, video ran out. There it is. So let me finish with this. I just felt like Matthew Golden was a reach at 12. Where he went was better for him. Where Ed Buca went was better for him because I felt like that was more of the pick in the round for them. First round, okay, but later in that pick, I don't feel like 12 was for both of them. Now, like I said, Tyler Booker. You heard what Shotty said. He said he wanted a physical team. They want to run the ball. They want physicality. We saw how good that offensive line and how dominant it was when you had Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick, the big three. Now you may have a Cooper Beebe, a Tyler Smith, and a Tyler Booker as your new big three. And if Guyton and Steele can step up, you're going to have a dog offensive line. Now, this is the thing. The offensive line over there with the Philadelphia Eagles is pretty damn good, right? They got the best offensive line in NFL football for the last few years, and it has benefited them. Why do you think Jalen Hurts has been so good? The offensive line. Why do you think Saquon Barkley went on right on over there? He's seen that offensive line. Not just that they had talent, but they had that offensive line. Well, how do you think he got 2,000 rushing yards? That offensive line. You feel me? How can you have great play action? What is Dak Prescott great at? Play action. What affords you play action? A good running game, but an offensive line. Shotty's trying to bring in high character guys that love football. That's what I see. That's what I see. And he was high character at Alabama, a captain at Alabama. I love the personality. You already seen when he was talking with Michael Parsons. I love his personality already. He says he wants to make people quit football. I love that. Number one, I love the trenches. I wanted a weapon, but I wasn't so team weapon that we can't get the trenches. I didn't want Booker at 12. I wanted him later. But when they got him, I wasn't tripping because you always want to have trenches first, whether it's on the offensive line, defensive line. That's where you want to have first. And I get why a lot of people were frustrated and mad, thinking like Stephen Jones and the Joneses, they going to just be the same way with these receivers. We happy with what we got. We got Jonathan Mingo. We got Jalen Tolbert. We re-signed Turpin, Jalen Brooks, Parrish Campbell. None of them guys get you excited. Maybe, to me, Mingo is intriguing because Mingo was over there with Bryce Young. He was over there with quarterbacks that were not guys. You feel me? Dak Prescott is considerably better than the quarterback situation there over Carolina. I ain't saying Mingo gonna come in and go crazy, but when you got better quarterback play, better offensive line play, better opposite receiver of you, maybe things can happen. Does that make me say I don't want a weapon in this draft? Hell no. I want to still get a weapon. If a weapon's out there at 44, I really feel like they're going to get the run game. Me personally, I think they're going to get a running back at the 44th pick. I would love Travion Henderson, but I think Judkins can be a guy over there too because I feel like they had a really good meeting with him, and he's a power running back with their power game. So I think that could be a pick for them. But Henderson went there, and I think they need more of that explosion for me because I feel like Judkins is more dependent on the offensive line than a Travion Henderson, and that's why I want Henderson. Now, I feel like I said, you're dealing with that defensive line in Philly. You're going to deal with a defensive line that got Abdul Carter. I don't know what happens with Thibodeau. You still got Dexter Lawrence over there. You get what I'm saying? Washington is rebuilding that defense up front. You got to have a front. Your quarterback is 31 years old, and I ain't gonna say he injury prone, but he's had quite a few injuries the last few years. So you got to keep him upright. He just tore his hamstring. He's not the athletic running guy anymore. He's a pocket passer. You need to be able to protect your quarterback in the pocket. And how do you do it? The best way you do it is build it from that inside, the center and the two guards. That's where that pressure. You don't want that pressure quarterback getting that pressure up the middle where he can't step into his throws. That's why you build that front. You get them two outsides, that's an extra second or so that he's able to either step up in the pocket or make a play. So I am totally fine with them getting Tyler Booker with the 12th pick. I think they are going to address that running back situation with 44, and we'll see. The word was out there that they might trade a third-round pick for maybe a Williams or, from Detroit, or maybe George Pickens. I don't know. I feel like they will get a receiver. I hope they get him early than late. I still feel like they need to address that defensive tackle, the corner, but really the defensive tackle, really build them trenches on both sides of the ball, because that's where you're going to be at. So I'm cool. I'm cool. But the main reason why I'm cool is because I like Brian Schottenheimer. I was just talking in the group, and Star was like, "Yeah, you liking Schottenheimer because you've been on him day one." I have. I'm not drinking no Kool-Aid from my dog Mel Hayes. I know you might listen to this video. I'm not drinking no Kool-Aid on him. This is real. It's not Kool-Aid. When you're drinking Kool-Aid, I feel like you just drinking something, or I think this is real, and so I don't feel like this is Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Because I really support Schottenheimer. Like I said, I really like him as a coach. Yes, it's Libra gang, but I just feel like all the traits that you want in a head coach he has, and he wants high character, guys that love football. I feel like he's going to have an expectation. I feel like he's going to set a standard, and guys going to adhere to it. And there's going to be a lot of conversation. There's going to be a lot of truths and a lot of realness. And I feel like that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a real culture changer in Dallas. Now, I'm not saying Dallas is going to go Super Bowl. I ain't saying that, but what I am saying is we finally got a coach since Parcells, in my opinion, that's really going to bring up the team in the locker room. And if he can hit the ground running as a coach, because that's going to be the critical part. I can love everything about Schottenheimer, his personality, how he's infectious, how he gravitates, gets everybody together. I can love all that. But if it don't translate to wins on the field, that don't matter, right? So that's the truth of it. So he's got to continue to be great on the field too, because he's a first-year head coach. He ain't never been a head coach in his life. So that's going to be critical. Everybody's going to be watching that. All that stuff that you talked about in the offseason is going to be watched in the end season. So I feel like it's not going to be a train wreck. I feel like it's not. I just feel like it's not, because of what he is establishing and what he's bringing. And it's going to help the front office. Stephen Jones, I don't want to talk about him. I feel like Shotty's voice is becoming stronger and stronger, and that's what we want. When the Will McClay is talking a lot in the interview and you can see there's more giddy up, I feel like that's due to Shotty. You know what I mean? And Shotty's going to bring up the play of his players. When's the last time we sat back and said, damn, we got a good-ass head coach, and look what a great call he made in that game? We haven't had that in a while since Parcells. We might be able to have that in Brian Schottenheimer. And if that's the case, I'm all for him and what he's going to bring to the Dallas Cowboys going forward. So check out that draft show tonight. Let me know how you feel about the Booker pick. Big Game James, I'm out. Peace.